all of, Tony, I think about, and this is hard for me to talk about because I feel for these people, as I know you do, people in this country that are undocumented. I'm not talking about people that have committed serious crimes when they're here. We don't want those people here. But there are so many millions and millions of people in this country that have been here for years. They pay their taxes. They might mow your lawn. They cook your food. These are hardworking people with children, with families. And Donald Trump, he said he wants to deport all these people. Now, do I think he will? I don't know. I hope not. But there's a lot of people in this country that are scared. Undocumented immigrants, women, they don't know whether abortion is going to be illegal across the country. It's already illegal in, I think, 20 states. In some of those states, no exceptions for rape or incest. Even members of the media and journalists. I mean, I'm not really worried. I'm going to continue to do my thing. You're going to continue to do your thing. But listen, going after, with our own military, Americans. So there's a lot of people in this country, Tony, that's my point, that are very worried. What would
Absolutely.
you say?
Well, I have personal friends that sent messages the morning after saying because of their status here that they were considering, going to another country. But let's start with the migrants first.
Okay.
And the demonizing and dehumanizing migrants in this country. And I am a white person, and I'm from Missouri. I'm from the Ozarks in Missouri. That's why I sound like I do. It's why I kind of look like I do. And a lot of people think I'm MAGA at first blow. But here's the thing. I want to speak to all the white people out there that might sound or look like me, if you're listening, in parts of this country. The reason why you go to the burger joint and there's lettuce and tomato on your burger, and the reason why there's a hamburger and it's healthy, it's inspected, is because of migrants and because of the government that we make up. We are the government that we protect. I find it very interesting that we could talk all day about the cruelty and the brutality of deporting what he says 30 million people, which I think by any good estimate, there's about 12 to 13 million of undocumented people here. Sure. And a lot of them are of Mexican or South American descent, but a lot of them are not. A lot of them look like me or you because they overstayed their visa or for whatever reason. But the thing is, laying the cruelty and the brutality aside, just the economic ramifications of deporting 30 million people in our country is going to be catastrophic.
Yeah.
The grocery stores will be empty. Your restaurants will not be able to serve food. They will close down early.
Horrible for the economy.
Right.
Horrible.
Right. But I want to give people a secondary imagination here of this, because we know who Trump is, right? We've watched him. We know who he is. This is not something that we have to guess on. The guy got into a garbage man costume and climbed into a trash truck. He pretended to work at McDonald's for 15 minutes. And I was really surprised. I was really surprised about that, but it kind of worked. But he is a reality TV star. He is producing WrestleMania in real life here for our country. Now, having said that, there is a possibility, especially with Susie Wiles as his chief of staff now that we know, and she's kind of the director of the WrestleMania and real life here. There is a possibility, there is a reality alternate to the brutal and the cruel reality of deporting 30 million, is that Donald Trump could lie. Because Donald Trump lies like we breathe, right? It is a very, 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 very part of his personality. Now, here's what I'll say, is that there is a chance that Donald Trump does what he did in his first administration, but he does it a little differently. Donald Trump in his first administration, if anyone is aware, he did a lot of workplace ICE raids. What that means is it's easier to get a hold of undocumented workers when they're all collectively in one place. One place that it would be is a workplace where they are all working, because they provide labor to our country, which comes to your kitchen table and your plate. Right. Now, he didn't really advertise these. He didn't put a lot of media around it. He didn't be like, yeah, I'm rounding up the brown people. He didn't do that, but he can this time. He can this time, and he can lie about it. Yeah, go ahead.
Add one thing to what you're saying, because I agree with everything you've just said. What's scary to me, there's a lot of things that are scary to me about this upcoming administration. But Tony, what's scary to me, and you alluded to that a little bit, is he's going to have nobody telling him he can't do anything. He's going to have free reign to pretty much do whatever he wants to do. He's going to have immunity. We know the way the Supreme Court decided in that case. He's not going to have anybody around him that say, no, Mr. President, that's not a good idea. Now, he did have a few people around him in his first administration that have since spoken at the DNC. They have not endorsed him, or they voted for Kamala Harris. But that's what really worries me more about this upcoming administration. He's going to have no parameters, no rule of law, for lack of a better term, and he's going to be able to do whatever he wants. And that's really scary to me, Tony.
Well, and I think more scary to me is that people around him won't have guardrails, because he won't have guardrails, because let's face it, he's lazy. He doesn't like to work. We all know this. He doesn't like hard work. He doesn't like hard things. He doesn't want to be held accountable. So deporting 30 million people. Okay. And I want to give you a sense of this over a 4-year period. If he stays in for 4 years and not longer, Donald Trump would have to deport 20,000 people every single day for those entire 4 years. 20,000 people a day.
Impossible.
Well, you might say impossible, but it is, even if it were to be possible, Ryan, it is really hard work. It is something that Donald Trump does not do, is really hard work. He does not work hard. He avoids work. He avoids working hard. It is absolutely something that he does not do. So Donald Trump's personality traits that he possesses, that we know he possesses, might be the one thing that stalls and obstructs the ability for Project 2025 to come to fruition. And the reason why is because he's not going to want to work that hard. So it's going to take longer to accomplish these things, unless he unleashes that immunity to his lieutenants and to his stormtroopers.
That makes sense to me. And, the thing that worries me the most, like I said, is the fact that, you're right. He's going to have people around him as well that are going to be able to pretty much have free reign to do whatever they want. But the unseriousness, for lack of a better term, of the people that are going to be around him. I mentioned RFK Jr. and others. Who knows if Laura Loomer will even get a job within his administration. But there's going to be a lot of Looney Tunes. There's going to be a lot of wacky people. It's going to be a clown show. And I really do think that's very dangerous for the country. And all he cares about is loyalty, right? Right, Tony? He doesn't care about experience, resume, who can help him in this area or that area for the good of the country. All he cares about is one thing, and that is loyalty. I
actually don't believe that anymore. If you want
really?
I think the one thing that he desires most is apathy towards him, right? That's what he wants. He wants people. That's right. He wants people to stroke his ego. That's all he wants. If you're against him at one point and now you're with him, I mean, him and Bannon have been back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Yeah. And it's not about whether you like Trump or he likes you or he's loyal to you or you're loyal to him. It's about in the moment right now, as we speak, in this current second, are you going to bend your knee? And if you're going to bend your knee in this second, he will love you. Another instance is Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia.
Yeah.
He really did not like Brian Kemp for a long time. And then when he needed Brian Kemp to back him in Georgia so he can win Georgia, which he did, then he kind of bent the knee to Brian Kemp and gave him the ability to be unloyal. And it's same way with Larry Hogan in Maryland, even though Larry Hogan lost that race and Brian Kemp, won his race, but Trump won Georgia and didn't win Maryland. But the point that I'm trying to make is that I don't think it's lifelong loyalty that this guy desires.
It's just in the moment.
He doesn't think past his nose. And again, that might be our advantage here. That might be our advantage here. It might be our disadvantage here in some sense. So we just have to take each moment and each signal one at a time to know where we're going to be.
Understood. Now, I think it's fair to say that you lean further to the left than I do. I'm a registered independent. But, I voted for 8 Republicans in the midterms. And I made a mistake, and I did not vote for Hillary. I didn't vote for Trump either, and I made a mistake, and I own it. I didn't vote for Barack Obama. The reason why I didn't vote for Barack Obama or Mitt Romney or John McCain is I think Mitt Romney would have been a decent president. I think John McCain would have been a decent president. Wasn't a fan of Sarah Palin, but I think McCain, good, honorable man, he would have been a decent president.